Hello and good morning and good afternoon and good evening and welcome back to day 2 of cricket returning back into our lives, back into our hearts, back into our souls at the Lord's Cricket Oval in sunny England. And what a day it's been. We've got a game on here. There's a game on here, boys. Boys! What happened was New Zealand wrapped up at 378 all out. England 1-1-1 for 2. Nelson? That's what's happened so far in the game. Has to be said. My name's Ian Higgins. Sam Perry is over there. Pez, how are you?
Hey, here goes. I'm well. And though there's some distance between us, I still feel very tight and connected to you because the daily is our thing. The daily is our thing. And it had to keep going. I'm at home because there's actually a triumphant scene here. My wife, after maternity leave, has returned to work. I'm looking after the boys. They're out there eating each other at the moment. That's fine. It's much more important that I deliver content to strangers about a game between two countries I have no affiliation with. So hopefully they incur no injuries and we deliver the content that the people really need. So with that in mind, here goes. Give us some fucking scores.
Well, Pez, can I put it to you in grade terms?
You can, because I've just realised, with a jet-lagged brain, you already did give us the scores. Cheers. Yeah. He goes, please, put it to us in grade terms.
Slow wicket, slow outfield. Fucking good tea here, butt. Good tea here, butt. Best tea. Great tea. Love coming back here. That's kind of the day. And the match so far, the state of the game. Slow wicket, slow outfield. Why is it a slow outfield? Fucking people off landscaping duties at Lords there. Cracking tea, though, at Lords. Everyone always bangs on about the tea at Lords, and that's my main takeaway from day 2 of this game. But Pez, 3 things to talk about. Number 1 thing, Devon Conway, 200 of your cricket runs on debut. 7th person ever to do that. Seems like a weird stat. He was passing records with highest debut score at Lords, 7th of all time, most after the winter equinox on a Wednesday afternoon, when there'd been 3 mils of rainfall on the Tuesday. All these kind of weird stats, but he had achieved all these things. Devon Conway, 200 cricket runs. Not bad.
Mate, not bad at all. And can I just say on behalf of everybody, because it's not been said at all, a really big theme on this show is cleanliness. A really big thing on this show, theme on this show is being clean. Does it get any cleaner than saying on my test match debut, I hit 200 even runs at Lords? Because that's what Devon Conway has done. My room is tidy, my mind is tidy, my son is yelling out the back of me there. That's okay. That's okay, guys. Boys! Seriously. I will utilise my kids to burnish my own personality. Mate, can I be a pedant for a second though, he goes?
Please.
Because yes, my room's tidy, my mind's tidy, it's clean. The whole thing's clean. Tick, tick. He brings up his 100 with a boundary, he brings up his double 100 with a 6. But
my God.
I just said so clean. You okay? Clean that up. But can I be a pedant? As he was on 200 and then 9 down, I just wanted him to carry his bat. I wanted the red ink. I wanted to say he carried his bat. It's completely spoiled of me. It's the same as Bradman averaging 100. Just score those fucking 4 runs, mate.
Just hit 4 runs.
4 more runs.
Yeah, Pez, well, I was going to ask you, because my kind of takeaway from this point is, when is cricket good? Because he's hit 200 at Lords debut, and I'm thinking, for the rest of it, so he is unlikely, God bless his socks and his soul, that he will score many runs in his test career, hopefully, but he may never score a higher amount of runs in one game, in one try, than in this game. So anytime he comes into bat now, it's going to be, Conway, age, interests outside of cricket, wants, allergies.
Yes.
And then it'll say average highest score. And the highest score is going to be 200. And it's 200 out. There's no little asterisk at the top there, So there's that in my mind. Didn't carry his bat. Carry the bat, please, Devon. But then also, he was run out. The number 11 has run him out, and he wasn't even on strike. Neil Wagner. Wagner was putting us through a fucking heart attack here, by the way, as well, because Conway's 187, and Wagner's going, I'll probably just hit in the air now, eh? What? Mate. You're 11. See this bloke home, and then he runs him out. When's cricket good?
I'm surprised you reflect on Wagner's innings like that. It was probably my favourite innings of the match so
Easily,
far.
so far.
So far. But you're right, he goes, because I sort of feel like there's this unstated obligation if you're still batting and you're on a good amount of runs, unless you're Steve Waugh, who's not selfish at all, he's actually really good at batting with a tail.
Really good batting with a tail, yeah.
Really good. A lot of not outs. But there's this sort of obligation as a top order bat if you're still in that you've got to throw the bat because 11's going to get out, and you've got to kind of sacrifice for the team. So often you see that guy not end with a not out because they're throwing the bat. But Conway gets run out. So Conway was trying to be selfish and carry his bat, but he wasn't able to do so. So let's spend at least 80% of this show complaining about him being out, despite making 200 even runs on his debut test match at Lords with a New Zealand-style beard.
Exactly. Okay, Pez, second thing, moving on. Mark Wood changes the game. Now, Pez, New Zealand were 288 for 3, set to put on a big score. They then lost 7 for 90 either side of lunch on day 2. Just explosive spell, though, from Mark Wood. It was that's what I like to see. He's bumping blokes out. He took 3 for 7 in 6 overs, changed the game. He picked up the wickets of Henry Nicholls, bumped him out. Good to see. BJ Watlin scratched him off, and then Santner was about a week and a half earlier, he chipped one to cover, but just changed the game, and that's sort of a bit of like not retribution, but he got his just rewards, I suppose, for a good spell of speedy bowling yesterday. Speedy bowling. I bowl speedy. What do you bowl, Speedy? Sorry.
Please. We're all thinking it. Mate, there's two questions arising out of Mark Wood's spell. How many games rest does he have now? And does this mean England will win the Ashes?
Yeah,
because I don't know how I'm meant to like Mark Wood did the thing that Mark Wood's in the team to do, change the game through frightening pace. Just sheer airspeed, and he did so on a wicket. We'll talk about this in a second. The wicket quickened up, and there was a lot more bounce in it, which suited Mark Wood, and he was able to do what he did.
Yeah.
So Mark Wood will go into the sheds, and now Mark Wood will go into the sheds, and he'll go, I've still got a gun in my back in terms of selection. Am I a marked man? Do I get to play the next game? Mm-hmm. So again, this is a way that we can actually complain about somebody doing something good. That's the thing of this day's play.
That is the thing.
But man, he bowled really well. Yeah,
I mean, docile wicket. Benny's back, found a bit of pace in it, found a bit of sideways movement as well just after lunch. It didn't go around corners, but there was a bit in it, which was, I suppose, heartening to see. But yeah, I love that he's now going to have to be rested because he's done something good. And you can't play any of your good players until the thing that counts. And then when they lose that, then it'll be like, oh, we probably should have tried to win the other games, eh? Anyway, Ollie Robertson should have had a fifer. He took 4 for 75. Broad dropped a catch at mid-off, I want to say, mid-on.
Mid-on.
Which would have been a bag for him. So he was actually probably the pick of the bowlers, but Mark Wood's like explosive 6 overs there definitely changed the tide of the game, because when you look at it, 288 for 3, Henry Nicholls on 61, Conway on his way to a glorious double ton. But good for him. Good for Mark Wood. I think he's supposed to be funny as well.
New Zealand loses 5 for 8. They ended up sort of losing 7 weeks for 130 after Wagner's partnership with Conway.
Right.
But yeah, Mark Wood inspired 5 for 8 collapse for New Zealand. Game back on. This is a test match, and yeah, a wonderful note to Stuart Broad. Ollie Robinson on debut. He's had a difficult start to the match off the field where his tweets were dug up.
I caught that.
Not the only thing, but his tweets were dug up, that's a normal thing that happens to people on debuts now. And he's he's about to finish with a 5 for at Lords on the honour board. Talk about clean again. And Broad does the correct thing. A lot of pacement in England. There you are at mid-off. Easy one to swallow. I'm sorry, mate. It's got symbols. I've got symbols.
Sorry, mate. I was thinking about me resting for the next 3 games. Pez, third thing. Pez, third thing. Burns and Root steady the ship after a bit of an edgy start. 2 for 18, I want to say. I want to say that, but I'll say 18 for 2. And Burns finished on 59 red ink, Root 42. Interesting one, because I reckon if Root goes big here in this game, in this innings, he might slip ahead of, like, Root's back in the big boys. Like we said that during the India first test match when he scored 200 after a great Sri Lankan test series as well. Root's back in the big boys here, but I reckon there's a chance here if he scores bulk runs in this innings, in this game, he might slip ahead into maybe third place into the top 4 big boys ahead of Kane. I want to see him do well against big teams, and he hasn't thus far.
It's almost as though there's 2 tiers of big boys, isn't there? Within the big boys, there's a 2-speed economy. You know,
yeah, for sure.
Smith, Coley, Williamson, Root. I thought you were going to say 100%. That Root's jumped ahead of Bubba Azam, but let's just be clear that Bubba Azam's not in the big boys.
No.
It was, mate. I actually managed to get a good optic at Burns and Root batting and the start of that innings because my children, who are a theme of this show as well, my 9-month-old son's sleep has regressed disgracefully. So I woke up at 11 or 12 a.m. here in Australia. And managed to get him back to sleep. I couldn't get back to sleep myself, so I sat down on the lounge and just watched the cricket. No phone, and I discovered the lilting rhythms of a bygone era. Just a little bit of opening stages of an innings of Test cricket. I watched
just
Tim
watching
Southee.
sport without your phone,
mate. Yeah, it was amazing. It was actually weird. It was really meditative. It was weird. I felt this strange kind of peace, and my brain felt like it was working again, and I felt like I was actually watching the cricket. Anyway, it was weird.
Bizarre.
Yeah, I got a notification. So, but Southee outwitted Zach Crawley. New Zealand bowled well at the start. Kyle Jamieson was both sides of the wicket. Kyle Jamieson's obviously never bowled with the Dukes before that we know of, and and he was both sides of the wicket, but he was still managing to swing it both ways. He can do a lot with the ball.
Yeah.
The thing about Kyle Jamieson that's interesting is that like everyone was saying, can't wait to see Kyle Jamieson bowl with the slope, but we want him downhill with the slope, except this time he went uphill with the slope from the nursery, and that's me pretending I know Lords. I've been a few times. And I'm just wondering if he went up. I'm wondering if he went up the hill because he wanted to deny Coley the opportunity to see him down the hill. I mean, they're playing at Southampton, but it's still about denying Coley.
Yeah.
So anyway, maybe the BCCI will ban that footage.
Yeah, Coley's got eyes everywhere, as does Rahane. So I'd be very careful if I was Kyle, if I was Jamo. My main takeaway from the beginning of the innings was fuck Rory Burns was absolutely plumb leaving that off middle stump, hit him in the back leg. It was going over. Did they review it? Yeah, it was given not out, reviewed it. It was going over. Great decision by the umpire. Fuck me, that was out. and then poor old Dom Sibley gets one. He's hit off stump just outside the line, or umpire's call outside the line. Sorry, umpire's call inside the line, and then just clipping off stump as well, which was like, I mean, that one looked out as well, but it's a weird game. Cricket is a weird game. We've said that many times, but just when you saw that live, Rory Burns, like he's kicked that off middle stump, and it was actually a great decision by the umpire. But like, I mean, if that's 4th grade, which I put every lens through, he would actually be out for 3 weeks because that was so out. But it wasn't. So that's the takeaway from that innings.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, and that's what cricket is in 2021, where you can say, great decision from the umpire. Fuck, that was out. Yeah, and the other one I want to note as well, he goes, was Root versus de Grandon.
Oh, yeah, from Lords, from the World Cup.
Neat Yorkshire posh stuff versus Zimbabwean mullet.
Snake from The Simpsons.
He is Snake. It's when his hair goes off on its own.
Yeah.
Anyway. That hair has a mind of its own. But that's his for Root. De Grandon's his kryptonite. Root is so elite. Yeah. He's grown up in so many great academies with great like sticks and England under-19s. He's never played 3rd grade before. He doesn't, and he had to watch him try and work his way through 3s facing de Grandon, but he did. And you could tell he had demons with. He's like, "What? Can the ball please get to me, please?" But he got through it. He's 42 not, and now I've got a bit of neat stuff ahead for us here. Here he goes. We've got Root on 42 not out. Yeah, Burns is a little boxer. He's a little left-hander, fucking scratching around. You don't know how to get him out. That's how left-handers should be. Who open the batting. And after Root, we got Pope. So looking forward to a bit of neat stuff for the next little while. I think Root's got a big one in him. He better as well. Otherwise, Brahane's after him.
There's actually a moment when Colin was chasing a ball to the boundary. I think it might have been, was it Crawley, or might have actually been Burns, flicked one to the leg side, and Colin was chasing after it, and his hat fell off his head. Then like his hair has legs. His hair has legs just flapping in the breeze. Hey. I'm pretty sure his hair's got arms as well. His arms, the arms of his hair lifted up the cap, flicked it off, and then his little rat legs run at the back here.
Mate,
it's unbelievable.
It's Snake's hair from The Simpsons. You got it.
He's my king. He's my king. All right, hashtag RCDSC Pez. Ruben Bennett writes in, says hashtag RCDSC. Feeling slightly outfit by New Zealand. Their number 11 would be averaging mid-40s in grade. Feels great to know that Neil Wagner played more good shots in one innings of 25 not out than I ever will in my entire life. What would you give for that innings? What would you give?
I think the first thing to say to Ruben is obviously English. I mean, New Zealand could win the World Cup, the World T20 World Cup. They could win the World Test Championship. I will never feel outfed by New Zealand when it comes to cricket. Okay, other areas like rugby union, I live in a perpetual state of being cucked by New Zealand, but
and fear.
But never outfed by New Zealand. That'll be another 100 years before they'll be able to do that, regardless. But Wagner was unbelievable. That innings was unbelievable. Those shots, that was Lara.
Back foot punches?
Mate, those shots were Lara.
It was Lara,
The way the bat flourished was sensational. Commit it to memory, put it in the bank. You know what to do after that.
Look, Olius writes in last one. And your memory bank. Yeah. And also get your hashtag RCDCs in for today's show and we'll answer your question tomorrow. Luca Olius writes in, a member of the TGC's YouTube channel and one of the greats. Hashtag RCDC. Boys, after seeing NASA saying wear a white long sleeve shirt alongside the great rig of Simon Dool, who was also in a white shirt, have you had any funny fashion stories either playing cricket or covering it?
English commentators have a particular style, like a particular fashion style that we don't have here, and I like it. You know, quite often it's
quite
the extra,
dapper.
It's dapper. It's about being a little bit preppy, one extra button undone, and in the case of say like Ian Ward, if you have a flat stomach, it's a good rig and it looks nice. I quite like it. We don't really do that much here in Australia. A little bit stiffer, a little bit often a little bit less rock and roll. Yeah,
it's so hot here. I mean, that's why. I mean, you look like Carragher and Neville wearing their three-piece suits on Monday Night Football. You can get away with that because it's fucking freezing. In Australia, it's like, well, I mean, that's why you know certain bowlers walk around the press box without shoes on. So
yeah,
you know.
That's really cool. Well, I've seen that particular bowler do that in England as well.
Why is he so good and funny?
I've also seen that particular bowler at Old Trafford, and it is a special day for this particular bowler at Old Trafford. But I've seen him at afternoon tea walk down with many people mingling around and say to no one in particular without shoes on, "Oh, I'm feeling a bit peckish. Anyone else a bit peckish?" He's not talking to anybody. He wasn't talking to anybody. Anyway, I can't name that person. Funny fashion stories, he goes. I've told the one before about me tucking my pants into my socks and getting sledged by Phil Jakes, but nothing else I can really think of.
Nah. I've seen some of my friends play village games where they get out to guys wearing a brown belt to hold up their whites. So, you know, that's where the real cricket is. That's the real gear. Village cricket and the nice verdant pastures on a Sunday afternoon at Tilford in Surrey. All right, that's day 2 wrapped up probably. We'll see you tomorrow for day 3. Anything could happen. We've got a game on here. See you tomorrow.